Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ plus story for today. I'm Edward Otto Zelke, and let's queer up South Florida and Florida. Horror, camp, and s'mores. Frankenstein Day hits Fort Lauderdale Beach on August 30th. It's alive! This 30th Frankenstein Day is coming to life in a way only South Florida LGBTQ plus community could pull off, with a beachside horror bash under the stars. The Wilton Manor's horror hunks, scream queens, and occult non-conforming, a community committed to fostering genuine connections among the LGBTQ plus people in Wilton Manors and Greater Fort Lauderdale, is inviting the queers to Fort Lauderdale Beach to celebrate World Frankenstein Day. The event will honor Mary Shelley's groundbreaking 1818 novel, Frankenstein, or the modern Prometheus, with a night that mixes camp, cinema, and the candlelit seaside picnic. For many queer people, Frankenstein is part of the queer history. Shelley herself was believed to be bisexual and lived among radicals and nonconformists, surrounded by people who challenged gender and sexual norms. And her creation has long resonated with queer audiences as a symbol of the outsider, longing for love and recognition in a world that rejects difference. Hollywood's imprint made it even gayer. Director James Whale, an openly gay filmmaker in the 1930s, infused Frankenstein and The Bride of Frankenstein with camp, wit, and subversive edge that critics now read as queer-coded. Whale's Bride of Frankenstein especially has become a cult favorite. The event kicks off at 7:30 p.m. with movies starting at 8 p.m. across from Hugh Taylor Birch State Park. Organizers are promising a double feature screening of the iconic Frankenstein 1931 and Bride of Frankenstein 1935, with Son of Frankenstein possibly rounding out the night for anyone who could hang out until the witching hour. August 30th also happens to be World Toasted Marshmallow Day, World Bacon Day, and World Beach Day. So organizers are also encouraging attendees to bring potluck goodies ranging from bacon-wrapped monster bites to toasted marshmallow mummies. A costume contest will also be held on the same day to crown the best Frankenstein, bride, or mad scientist with prizes. More information about the entry and the event will be available on Instagram at WiltonHSO. This sounds like a really fun event.
Yes, it does.
You know, I do like a lot of horror movies, and they've always kind of resonated with me, but, you know, I always love the classics, and I love Frankenstein, and I've always loved the adaptations of that. You know, it does stem from a lot of queer love.
Yeah.
You know, and it's so great.
Forbidden.
And who would have known back in the 1930s we have queer people in Hollywood?
Yeah.
Wow, you know, I mean, like, we've been around for what? Ages and centuries and stuff.
Yeah.
So, you know, and we write the best books, we write, tell the best stories. So, you know, of course this comes from a queer mind. So I look forward to this, and I mean,
and the things you learn,
nice.
I had no idea there was a Frankenstein Day until this month, and a Marshmallow Day. I mean, how many things can you throw at that damn day?
Well, that's pretty crafty of us. You know, we could take things like World Bacon Day and World Beach Day and Marshmallow Day and tie it all into a horror camp.
Baby, call this a Bonnie Day, because those are things I love. I will be eating bacon and fucking s'mores on the beach, watching some Frankenstein. I didn't know Frankenstein had a son, to be quite honest. I thought he only had a bride. I thought they were incontinent. What's the word I'm looking for?
No,
when you
not incontinent, that's
something different.
Completely different.
Something different. You're back to regardless.
They were childless.
Childless. I didn't know they could have a child. I didn't know their body parts worked. But I am a huge horror gay through and through. And to have one of the figures from the classic horror universe, cinematic universe, be celebrated, represented in this way is very exciting. Like, Frankenstein, to be quite honest, will never get old. Dracula will never get old. The Mummy will never get old. They have gone through time and time again being forward figures of the horror movie genre. So I'm very happy to celebrate this, and I'm happy that the queer community loves horror. There's just something about this antagonist that is ostracized by everyone else in the film, and yet they are typically the most badass, the most glamorous, the most campy.
And we're always rooting for them. We're always rooting.
And that's who we identify with.
Yes.
I mean, look who I'm sitting next to.
A killer. A born killer.
A fierce queen,
The straightest thing I've ever done is kill the guy. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You take it.
What? I'm a horror fan through and through.
I love
really
horror
do
too.
believe that it does have something to do with our gay identity.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that the people who produce the horror films, they had to have been thinking something gay.
Yes.
Because like maybe gay producers, maybe they were hiding out like, oh, I'll just produce this gay film. I mean, this horror film. Because there's just always something for the gay eyes in horror films. You know, whether it was Friday the 13th, you're watching all these sex scenes, you know, whether it's Interview with the Vampire, and you're like, they're getting a little bit too close to one another. And it's on the beach. Like, you know, I want the sand. Like, I love the beach at night. It's my favorite thing. One of my favorite things. Very, very high up on the list is to be on the beach at night and watch the moonlight and all of that stuff. So
the love of your life is watching.
That.
Tell him.
Huh?
The love of your life is watching.
Yes,
Tell
come
him.
to that beach. But unless you're one of the occult nonconformists,
Then keep your ass home.
you can keep your Ouija board on this side of me. Like, I love horror and everything, but I was raised too Christian. I'm not religious now, but, you know, I'm an angel Christian.
But just in case. But just in case. Whoever gave The Bride of Frankenstein an updo was a queer person.
Hello.
With that being said, that is a big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ plus stories by subscribing to and sharing Queer News Tonight.